Caelan, can you just give us a sense of the mentality in the group going into this game? It's obviously back to business end, doing what you ultimately want to do for a couple of years. Can you just give us a sense of that?
Yeah, this is obviously where we want to be. It's exciting, like Leo was saying, there's a good buzz around the club at the minute between the lads coming back from South Africa off the back of the win and a few good performances we've put in. So there's big excitement. Some guys haven't played in a couple of weeks, trained hard over the last couple of weeks, and a bit of an opportunity there's always a few niggles at this stage in the season. So get on top of the body, and when the body's good, it's easier to be there mentally. So big excitement, looking forward to getting stuck in.
Have you...
Sorry, can you push in the microphone a small bit for you there?
Yep.
Obviously, the Lions will be named next Thursday, and no one's admitted they're thinking about it. But have you successfully managed to kind of park that and keep that out of your head as the season's gone on? Because it's obviously such a big target, I'm sure, for players. Yeah,
I would have said to you guys a while ago that, like, obviously when you're doing your season goals at the start of the season, it's something you look at, and then it genuinely is week to week, and especially at these stages, you can't afford to look beyond the semi-finals. So someone actually asked me that during the week, and yeah, that's the honest answer. I haven't thought about it a whole lot. I'm very much so focused on this week.
How big a kind of lesson is last year's game between these teams and the kind of approach to Northampton? So
yeah, they obviously want to attack. They want to play with tempo. They want to keep ball and play pretty high. We experienced that particularly in the second half last year. I think one of the learnings from us from that game is the need to continue to play and to attack the game. There's maybe a little bit of just trying to eke out the clock to a certain extent, even subconsciously maybe. So having guys like Jack and Jordy that we just mentioned on the bench to come on and add something will help with that, I think.
And Northampton, a different challenge to what they were last year when you look at players like Gil Smith and Pollock pushing through and some experience and also.
Yeah, I think they've improved definitely. Mitchell and Smith pull the strings for them very well. Pollock's obviously has a nice highlight reel already through this season. He scored plenty of tries, top turnovers in the EPCR, so he's playing very good rugby. He's still obviously only 20, but he's been impressive. They've threats throughout their team though, some consistent with last year, some new ones, so it's definitely going to be a challenge.
If you look at how that game panned out with their 2 late tries and your defence in the first 2 knockout games, how much has that evolved, do you feel?
Yeah, we'll find out to a certain extent tomorrow, I think. There's definitely a feeling that it has improved, and you've seen that with some of the results we've had, obviously, in this round of 16 and the quarter. Not conceding anything, but tomorrow's going to be a much bigger challenge for our defence. So, guys are aware of that and ready for it.
You used the phrase last year, just looking back at your quotes, you used the phrase that Leinster had a purple patch, then you had a lull, then Northampton started playing well again. What's the mature sort of recollection of that game now, in that you suddenly had 6 minutes of it? You didn't panic or anything like that, but it was still 6 minutes where you could have got a strike.
It's kind of what I mentioned there around continuing to attack it, not sort of feeling that there's a score we want to protect, but trying to add to it, and
Just to give you a fright, that ended with both Austin Healy and Lawrence Delalio screaming penalty at the last ruck. Did you know that? Have you watched that match back since?
Not with commentary, no.
Not with commentary, no. It wasn't penalty, I ever know.
I don't think so, no.
have you had much interactions with the officials? Robin obviously flagged on Monday that you've had Robinson, he's had a bit of problems here for say this season.
Yes, we would always have a call with the referee every week. So yeah, we go through our normal conversation on a range of different topics. So, but yeah, listen, Pierre's usually experienced referee, so we're looking forward to working with him now tomorrow.
And Richie Murphy said there was all sorts of illegalities going on right down 2 weeks ago, and you got in there with last weekend. Is that a concern of rest what people think you could there?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what Richie was getting at, to tell you the truth. Because I asked Tabba Henning, did he send him through officially, which he hadn't, which is what Tabba told me. So I don't know, you'd have to ask Richie.
Leo, tomorrow is Leinster's 16th semi-final. They're going to lose and reach more. They're trying to make the final for the 4th year in a row. Nobody's ever done that. Do you think you get any credit for these achievements?
We're only worried about ourselves, Jerry. We're credit where? As in, all our families and loved ones are very proud of us, I think, so they are. So that's the main thing. They still love us. Win, lose or draw.
Do you think it's achieving yourself, or have you all become so obsessed with winning that 5th star that you don't actually pause for breath and say, wait a second, this actually we're achieving something here.
No, we enjoy what we do every day. Like, it's probably the big thing. Like, and there's a genuine excitement about, I don't think anyone is like, oh, we've got to go to work today. It's like everyone enjoys coming in to where we are based in UCD on a daily basis, and players, staff, everybody associated with the team. And there's a great buzz. It's an exciting place to be. I don't know if you're in there pretty regularly. Like, do you get a sense of it looks like a real drag for all these people to be here? And particularly when it comes to the match day, like it's the performance of the team that's everyone's usually proud of. So everyone feeds into that the whole time. So, and it's not ever on one person, is it? So, and that's the beauty of this sport. Rugby is the ultimate team sport in many ways. But then to grow a rugby team, like, you need so much in terms of the backroom support that goes into that, because again, like, it's a contact sport for starters. So, like, how the players are managed, the duty of care for them from a staff, and then there's the wider piece of trying to promote the games and to the wider audience and to get people to support the team, and the whole circle goes on. So, listen, we enjoy it. When you win things, it's fantastic, but it's making sure, like, we don't lose sight of what it is. Which is every week that we go out to play, it's to be at our best. To put on a performance that everyone goes, wow, that was unbelievably cool to be part of. But that doesn't start at the game. It starts, obviously every week at the end of the final whistle goes, but then the attention turns to when the next game is. And we were away in Scarlets in the dressing room at the weekend. We got beaten, and it's a bit of a kick in the arse for us, because it was like, there were certain things in that game we were like, if we do those things, we're not going to be successful. So that was a good reminder. Obviously a lot of people that are involved in this game weren't in that Scarlet's dressing room, but everyone if I'm talking to the people who were in the Scarlet's dressing room, they know what that feels like. It's not nice when you don't give all of yourself, or for whatever reason. And listen, the opposition play a huge part. Scarlets, I thought, were excellent on the day as well. And it's a game of, listen, there's two teams playing it. Like, Northampton are a team that do a hell of a lot of good things. They bring through young players, lots of similarities with what we try to do. So we know it's going to be tough. I know Sam Vesti is an attack coach. I play with him in Leicester. Phil Dowson. We're similar vintage players. Would have played against each other, cross paths. We played Northampton in pre-season. For those that don't remember, it was our second pre-season game. We played Bordeaux, got well beaten the week before. We played Northampton, managed to win well over in Franklin's Gardens. And we were talking about the semi-final last year, and lo and behold, here we are in another semi-final. But that's at the start of the season. Bordeaux was the team we played in pre-season. We went out for food with their coaches the night before the game, and listen, they're in the semi-final the day after. And how great would that? We were talking about, it'd be great to see each other in the final in Cardiff, wouldn't it? But Northampton and Toulouse want to stop that happening. So, but it's always about what we do on a day-to-day basis, because ultimately what we do day to day, that will be reflected in what happens at the weekend. So that's a pretty long-winded answer, I know, but hopefully you understand the point.
Caelan, is it frustrating that this game is going to fall a decent bit short of the sellout compared to 82,000 people at Croke Park last year?
We're massively fortunate to have the fan base that we have. Like, getting 42 or whatever it is pretty special for a semi-final. I think we've had over 100,000 across Ulster in the previous two rounds as well. So we're massively lucky, and they make a big difference for us. So obviously you'd want to have a full one ideally, but the more the merrier.
Well, it might be sold out still, so you might be jumping the gun a bit there.
But at the moment it's not tracking towards that. We've seen it in the past that.
But that's up to you now, isn't it? Sort of beat the, get off the TV, get off the TV, get up off your couch, stop, turn the radio off, or actually bring your radio to the game and come to the game. Yeah, live sport, hard to beat, isn't it?
But compared to previous rounds,
but I can't control that. Like, what's the? I don't understand the line of question.
But you've spoken before, but you feel so grateful to have. I'm not saying it's a Leinster issue or the Leinster fans aren't coming out. It's like
But how many rugby teams are playing in front of over 40,000 this weekend?
I don't know. But
how many would you say?
I would say none.
None. So we're like in a very privileged position. So I wouldn't take it for granted.
should be sellout, though, shouldn't it? Champions Cup semi-final should be sellout.
I don't understand the question, lads. I do understand where you're coming from, but like, as in,
If there's over 80,000.
if we get over 40, like, as in, it's still a big number. So
Half of them was there last year.
I don't know. Is that the? I don't understand the mechanics of marketing a game. So as in, I don't know. You'd have to ask someone else. I'm busy trying to figure out how we perform on the field, and hopefully it's a product that people want to turn out to watch.